Boom. Guys, man, so go ahead and introduce yourself and then we're just gonna have a conversation, man. Walk them through who you are, what you do, what's going on, man. Last time it was messing up. I'm like, you know what? Me, Richard, I said, I don't even want folks on my lives, man. Me and Richard got to do a live to do a giveaway, but I'm like, I ain't talking to nobody, man. I ain't even got to. Go ahead, man. Tell them who you are, what's going on, man.
Okay, well, I'm the dog god, aka the coach, aka the Elon Musk of high performance working dogs. I am the founder, the creator, the innovator, the coach, the owner, all of the above of Formula One canines. And man, I specialize in creating high performance working dogs, competition dogs, creating them. That's what I specialize in, and also conditioning dogs, something that I like to do.
Hmm,
So
okay.
that's who I am, a dog man pioneer, a dog man connoisseur, and a dog man engineer. That's who I am.
Why do this is kind of off subject, but on subject, but uh at one point I was replying to messages and I repost or like your stuff and share it in the story every now and then if I see it, if I'm on there. And someone's like, that dude's making mutts. I'm like, "Yeah, what?" I ain't getting to no conversation with it, but I was like, there's a group of people who have a distaste for your mixing and um combining of things. And all I'm thinking is, y'all best ask some questions because he figured out something that y'all, when we look at the genetics and you look at the muscles and then clearly, like you said, you want them to perform. I know we spoke about that before. I
Yeah,
think it's just funny how people can go left on the negative and not be like, hey man, what were one of the things that you learned over the years with making sure every dog has a good rear,
yeah,
muscular rear, where you're able to focus, how did you get the myostatin gene in there? And
yeah.
then when you're pairing two things, what are you looking for? I did ask you 7,200 questions versus I'm guessing just talking bad about it, man. I'm like, man, that's crazy that they would go out of their way
Yeah,
to spend that kind of time judging the man versus not seeing that there's something there that
correct.
that I don't think we all know. And
Right.
clearly, you've got more experiences like Chris Moore and them will tell you with failure than you probably had success. So when you do figure the formula out, which you've done,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, hey, walk me through, bro. What did you do? So what was the dog? And we talked about the bulldog thing when you did it, but like, what's the dog that's your premier dog that just inspires you every time you walk into your yard at this moment in time?
Well, let me just rewind real quick and just go back on to why I feel people like to have something to say about what I do,
Mm.
And if it wasn't for the fact that my dogs speak for me, I could easily get on and use my personality and my charisma. I could do all the showing and telling that people do to invite people to want to watch your content. A lot of people like to see material things. A lot of people like to see flashy things. They want to see very, flamboyant individuals, personalities. But one thing that I've made sure that I've done and solidified when it came to me and my program was showing the dogs. That was
Yeah.
something that I always wanted to make a point to emphasize. Now, over the years, I've gotten better on defining how I'm going to represent myself and my program and my dogs and what I do. And based off of that, I've gotten a lot of notoriety based off of the dogs themselves and how I present them. So, because of that, and the algorithm and how the algorithm works when you produce pretty much a high level of quality content, then it gets showed to a lot of people. Now, once you see content and you scroll down your feed and you see dogs that catch your eye, you're gonna stop. Then you stop, and then you might see a profile picture of a black man. That always makes people want to say something. When you have a picture of a dog that makes you stop. Not only does the dog make you stop, it's probably a dog you've never seen before. Based off of that, you read maybe the dialogue in the post, and I'm talking very confidently and truthful about what I'm doing with my dogs. So what that does is it makes people who don't have that level of content, don't have that level of dog, see a black man with that level of content and those level of dogs, multiple top tier dogs, not just one, multiple breeds, have my own facility. I can check everything off the box. Then it
Mhm.
makes you automatically be envious instead of just, oh man, salute, bro. Oh, you doing your own thing. Oh, you being truthful. Salute. So I think the envy of it, because they don't have the dogs, is why people come with the negativity. Mutt this, mutt that, this, that, and the third. Because if my dog wasn't something that was worth you scrolling and stopping, then you would have kept on going.
Hey,
You wouldn't,
I feel the
you know?
same way when they love people be sitting. Hey man, they know they're trying to. What somebody say? Somebody sent me a form the other day on my personal page where I still reply and they were like, "Hey, Mr. Trevor, they're doing a petition right now, and trying to stop you from such." I said, "What?" I said, "Look, don't pay that no mind. That's just noise." And they sent me the whole thing, and
Wow.
it's like uh, Trevor pretending to be a dog trainer, which I say in every video, I'm not a dog trainer. Such and
Mhm.
such people. I'm like, bro, I ain't teaching nobody nothing. I be feeding my dog and minding my business, and y'all be watching when I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
I've done nothing. The dogs are fine, but I love the internet because people get it twisted. I tell somebody once, I said, look, don't let the 15 minutes a day that I post make you believe you know what's going on in my life. Like that ain't real life, bro. And it's a
Exactly.
part. And in real life, all the things happen, which is why I don't chuck and jive and bullshit. I just like, oh, see that fight, man. I told you it was gonna happen. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes with the territory of
Yeah.
exposing yourself to the world. You're going to get the pros and the cons to it. There's two sides to every coin. So you got to accept both sides as they play. And, earlier on in my career of social media, I would call it, I used to get in my Whitney, what I would call my so emotional baby. That's what I call my Whitney. That's what I call Whitney. You know what I'm saying? When you get into your emotions. So I would be in my Whitney, early bird and just kind of be combative back with them, defending myself or excuse me, defending my dogs. And then over time, I just kind of like, whatever, y'all gonna come anyway. But why they were coming, I had to digest why they were coming. If I wasn't relevant enough for you to even be in my comment section, then I ain't relevant.
Yeah.
But every time I got something, and then I call them the peanut gallery, get up in there with their naysaying and shit, then all of them jump up in there. And then, of course, engagement is what helps push posts. I learned.
I'm like, oh, the hatred's good on this one. Like, I don't read
Right.
comments and stuff. So I'm like, when I tell people I don't see it, I literally like I just saw that a video that I posted a day ago on TikTok. It's got 2.4 million views. And just in the past week alone, or this month, we've done roughly over 70 million views between three platforms. Just and on TikTok alone, two videos are at 40. I mean, collectively 20 and 20, and that's 40. And then another, like, oh, that's cool, but my notifications are off. As you know, I reach out to you, and I
Yes, sir.
always, if I see your stuff, I think people think I be online more than I am, but I live in the real world, as I tell people, and I enjoy real life. Social media is an extension of who I am, and kind of like me getting up there and sharing stuff. And I would tell you, this is a question I ask you as we get into the dog stuff, because I said in this talk, guys, I wanted to highlight him as a person and an individual. There's a lot of people, men especially, who struggle. Kids are killing themselves off of social media, man. So, what would be some of your best advice to stay strong? Because Jamarcus and others around me have fallen victim to, I mean, the comments get them going, and even the bear, a lot of them, they straight up said, "Man, Trev, you." I'm like, dude, them people, leave it. Don't worry about it, man. Just keep posting. Like, we got more work to do, man. They're gonna
Yeah.
be there. They're gonna be there tomorrow too. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. They're gonna be here tomorrow, the next day. We gotta exist so they have something to do, bro. But
It's a good
as
point.
as I told Jamarcus years ago, and others, I said, I'll do the social media thing because I can take it.
Mhm.
And they didn't understand it till it happened to them, and they were like, "Oh man," they stopped posting. I'm like, "Nah, we got 30 posts done today. All them posts going up. That post is going to be irrelevant." And 7 days from now, it never happened. Oh, I never thought of it that way, Trev. I said exactly because you stuck on these people who literally don't mean anything. Mean
Correct.
anything. So, oh, I don't respect you. I'm like, okay. Hey, I don't
Yeah.
like you. Okay. I don't trust you. I never posted anything to be liked, trusted, or respected. I post what's going on in real time, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But either way it goes, it's a matter of perspective, right? So,
Correct.
what would be
Correct.
your best advice to those people who are getting in there and just getting a little traction, and then here comes the hate.
Oh man, I see it like this. This is how I see it. Think of it like you're an opposing team and you're going into their home which is, let's say, social media,
Yeah.
and you represent a winning team, okay? Because honestly, unless you just are just somebody they want to make fun of just because, they really gonna skip past you. That's just how the social media is. You know what I mean? They want to go to the games where there could be a rivalry, and your rivals are your haters, and they're gonna come to your game every time just to find a way to see you lose.
Every
And
day.
and because of that, if I'm playing a professional sport and I'm at an away team, I'm at an away game, of course they're gonna be booing me and talking shit and all that type of stuff because they want to see me lose. But then when I win, then what you gonna say? You still gonna come to my games, just see me lose. So as long as you have the crowd, I would say to the young people who perceive it as, you know, a personal target, these people are fanatics, either
That's
on,
funny.
either on the positive sides of the fandom or the negative side. Okay, they're gonna be there regardless. As long as you performing at your level or you're confident in you and your content, accept them both. And then it's all internet. It's the internet. And misery loves company as well. There's people that will literally go into your comments to look for people talking shit. So they can be like talking shit with them. Yep, see. But at the same time, like I figured out, this all benefits us because it produces flow, produces the algorithm to like and push your shit to others. So yeah, you might get 30% of the negative comments in your sections, whatever, but the rest of them, you might get more followers than you do negative. And
I've
it
heard.
all works in your favor. And what it's going to do is, especially for us men, it's going to harden your emotions. It's going to make you accept and understand that you need to have a level of emotional intelligence to where, like you said, it's not affecting me. You're not hurting me. What's that? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. You have to put that into perspective when you expose yourself out there. You know what I mean? So as you can accept the claps and the praise and the hip hip hoorays, accept the nays and the hate and all that shit too. It all comes with the territory. And don't get yourself emotionally caught up in it, whether it's a positive or a negative.
Hey,
That's how I would say. That's my
that
advice to you.
that's well said, man. And again, I know that they be coming for your head, and I post knowing that they got everything. I'll be like, moved on though. And
Mm.
mind you, I would agree 70-30. 30%
Mm.
of it's gonna be hate, 70% is gonna be love. I get more love than I get hate, but I get some beautiful hateful. I mean, these kind of messages make me laugh. Like, oh man, this person's
Come
motivated
on,
today, boy. They didn't
and then
personally told me I'm gonna die and I'm sick.
for them to be worried about you that much, that must mean you really doing something. For another man, especially men, for another man to be worried about what I'm doing, enough for you to think that you're gonna dictate my moves with some words.
Yeah.
Like you really, what type of man do you think I am? I don't move because of you. You serious?
Hey, Richard really gets motivated. He'll send him his address. So come on over here. Keep that same
Oh
energy and shit. Cause he's
man.
like this. He's like, Trev, man, they got a lot to say in them comments, boy. I said, Richard, they not real, bro. They not real. They never gonna ask about the nature of your being and who you are, which gets us even into the dogs, because the dogs at the end of the day are reflections of kind of our choices, our care, our curiosity, and all things have a very unique beginning. And I've actually got messages from various people and talked to some people who want to get into the freaky making crazy dog thing. I say that's not my lane, my friend. I said now if I was going to do it, I would get a female here based on all the stuff I know about dogs. But when you went to the dog stuff now, when you go to that yard, man, what is your premier dog for you that motivates you to keep going
Man, I
at
have
this
so
moment in time?
I have so many. Um, let's see. Okay, so right now in my program, I'm moving toward creating a live like an estate guardian dog, my own. I'm also moving toward creating my own line of bull herders,
Okay.
and then I'm also moving toward my own line of high performance bulldogs. So I have those projects are on my forefront, in my forefront of my program. Okay.
Start with the estate dog. So someone's got an estate, fenced in area, 5 acres. What breed protects the whole estate?
So what I'm going to do is I have a dog named AK-47 Chopper. Let me give his full name. Double XL Pit Bull, freak of nature. AK-47 Chopper, aka the Bone Crusher. Okay, so that's his full description online. All his fans, all his haters know. Okay, this particular dog is going to be the pillar of my bull herder and my estate guardian. So I'm taking him and I'm taking him to a Kangal. Okay, which of course a Kangal is a livestock guardian dog.
Yep.
Very powerful, etc. I want to have that type of dog to be also a predator as well, not just a guardian, but have a predator instinct as well, predator drive. Because I deal with I deal with bears out here where I stay at. I deal with mountain lions out here where I stay at. I deal with some serious uh, animals out here. So I want a dog not to just guard, but I want a patrol animal too.
Mm.
Okay. So, and I love the temperament of the Kangal because the Kangal understands who her or his family is, whether it be animals or humans, right? And they're very calm and peaceful. They don't get rattled easy unless something coming in that's outside of the family. Okay. But they're very chill dogs. Like they'll lay down and and I have a yard full of dogs, all kind of dogs. And me having a Kangal for the first time, I got a chance to see their temperament. And my Kangal does not get affected by the rah, rah, rah of my yard. Never, never. She chill, all of them going crazy, she just chill out. But let something else outside the yard come around and see how that bitch act. She's on a whole nother level. So I'm like, oh, okay, I got this freak right here, AK. He got drive through the roof, athletic, a freak of nature. I throw that into my Kangal. Hopefully, God will give me the best of both worlds, God willing. And then I could see that dog with that type of chill, temperament, confidence, but also want to go on patrol, want to go and hunt, and then have the ability physically to be able to take down, you know, a mountain lion if necessary. You know what I mean? To be able to run off a wolf and not just run them off.
How long do Kangals normally live?
This is my first Kangal, Trevor. I can't really say how long they live. I haven't really studied how long they live, but
I was just asking because I know they're a bigger breed, and even for myself, when I looked at getting a breed that would give me the opportunity to teach about big dogs and just the bone and joint stuff, I said, okay, which dog has for me the biggest life? And in a sense, the Boerboel can give you 10 to 15 years. I said, damn, that's kind of a long time for a bigger dog.
Yes.
I was gonna go crazy left and get the Irish Wolfhound just because it'd be a showstopper, like walking around down the street. But then I'm like, them Negroes get they get bone cancer by 7 or 8, and they only live to 8 or 9, so they have a higher risk because their bones technically never stop growing of bone cancer. So I was like, can't do that, man. Because right when you start falling in love with them, you start falling in love with dogs, in my opinion, at that 3 to 5 range is where that dog becomes like your homie.
Yeah.
And from there, you mean I only got 3 years left? I'm like, that ain't long enough, man. Not for the 10 years of work I've mapped just in the dog space to ensure that we impact the world the way I want to. So that's why I was curious because the Turkish Kangal popped up. Clearly the Central Asian Shepherd. Because Max and them guys out there, there's some dogs. I was like, yeah, what's the right one to like? You see it in the thing, I'm like, oh shit,
right.
And I went with the Boerboel route, but I was curious because sometimes when you're adding stuff, you cut this to get that, and then if you add this, and it's like, okay, we got this, but then in like a pit bull, we know give you 15 if you take care of it, 15 to 20.
Correct.
So you already added another life force in there, but then between 15, 20, and then if you could like, I can give you 10 good years with a dog, 10 to 12, that's a good range to sell somebody something estate-wise.
For sure. And I feel that could be the possibility, let's say at least a 12 year, a 12 piece, if I was to think about it, because of course, when you cross in different dogs, you get something called hybrid vigor. Okay.
Hybrid vigor. What is that?
Hybrid vigor. That's pretty much when you take two different dogs or breeds or different families, you cross them together, and then you get heterosis
Mm.
happens where hopefully those genes being different, the combining of them gives you an explosive, I would call like how I would explain it, like an explosiveness of the gene pool where hopefully the offspring become better than the parents. Okay,
Mhm.
both parents. Okay, because of that reinfusion of two separate families of genes coming in. So it's like a revitalization of your line, both lines, called hybrid vigor. Okay, based off of that cross of that Kangal and AK, I should be able to get that level of hybrid vigor. Now, my level of hybrid vigor might not be how everybody else is level of hybrid vigor because I've been dealing with that all my career of breeding dogs, seeing dogs get better and better and better and better and better. So my standard is very high.
Yeah, that makes
Come
sense.
what I want to see from crossing these breeds. So I'm not just crossing breed. I don't just cross breeds just because it's cool. I have a method. I have a scientific flow. I have a genetic flow that I'm following. I have notes that I've taken off of my offspring, off of the dogs that I have, to know that what I produce is what I want to get.
How did you define kind of even like your customer base? Because I know that when you kind of cross things and the concept of the word mutt or whatever comes up,
Mm.
comes to effect, like what's the sales pitch to these people outside of you already having a good brand that does a really good job of sharing, like you said, the truth and the journey when you cross and stuff. But when people's association of these two things are boom, but now
Mhm.
think about the bull herder, it's become a popular idea
Mhm.
because of the people who kept doing it. And then they
Correct.
kept doing it. You got Doc Tails, no Doc Tails, a pit bull, and what is it? What's that other dog that everybody, the Malinois per se?
Mhm.
Pit Mal. You like, why would y'all do that? That's now the Mal was already a psychopath. Now you got two nuts kicking it together. That's
Yeah,
crazy to me.
that's
But
true.
it's a space for it, right? Then they come up with the bull herder, aka
For sure.
hence new marketing tools. So I'm a marketing guy. So how do you define like your customer base, man?
So I never um seen my program as I'm combining dogs and I'm creating mutts. So I don't even perceive it as that. There's
Yeah.
people who are naive and ignorant to dogs in general, and they don't even understand that the majority, if not every dog breed known to mankind was a cross or something.
100%. Even the Rottweiler, when that white part comes out on the chest, that's the Bernese Mountain Dog back there. Like, guys, what the people don't understand is it all. I love, and I personally love what you're doing because even when the AKC, when they do their, hey, we just recognize a new breed, or these are 7 dogs in the miscellaneous section, and we're debating after this many generations if we'll recognize it. Like these people, like a doodle ain't recognized, but about an AKC, but everybody got 1,700 different doodles. So I'm like,
Correct.
what is it? What are you talking about? How do you think all these dogs came to life?
Thank you. Okay. So to answer your question, with my program, I'm very transparent with what I do. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I have my own pit bull line. Okay. And I wanted to make a larger pit bull. So I went overseas, okay, where they do things differently than we do. A lot of people do. But overseas, they're really into competition type working animals overseas. They really have visions and they really, follow through with their visions, whatever it might be. They'll take dogs that we've never thought of taking and bringing them together and making what they make. So I went overseas and got me, AK-47, you know what I mean? Which is a
Mhm.
double XL pit bull phenotype, genotype, bought from two different parents from America. Okay, from America. He brought them over there with his vision, cooked them up together, two different families together, produced hybrid vigor. Okay, and then got me a freak named AK. Now, because I wanted that size in my standard pit bull line I've already created, because I wanted to make my lines, because that's what I do, bigger, stronger, and faster.
Yeah,
Okay. Then based off of that, I was able to create what I wanted to create with having genetics that showed the size and the drive and everything else that I lacked. So I added to what I didn't have and added, boom, created it. Okay. So same thing what I do with other dogs. So if I wanted to get into band dogs, which I did, okay, I got a band dog formula that was already created. Okay. And then I took my dogs and added it to that. So people who follow me, I explain what I do, so they don't perceive it as much. When I had my band dog line, it was a band dog line. It was a Neapolitan Mastiff, German Boxer, American Bulldog mixed with a game pit bull. That was mine. That's mine. So I'm telling you, every breed, and it's a band dog. Okay, worked. Personal property, guardian, home protection type dog, and you can use it for hunting if you want. Okay, band dog is not a breed. It's a description of what that dog can do as a job. Okay. So that's my line of band dogs. So I've never had, from a marketing standpoint, have to really like, clarify what I do.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
You know
now,
what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. And what is it that you kind of really want people to know about? Either mixing dogs yourself, your program, why you're doing all this stuff. Because I feel like sometimes I don't even feel like it's not an emotion. It's more of a I like that you are clear, kind of about your path, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you put it together. And even when you're saying that, I did a marketing video the other day when I came back into the bully space. I literally I said, hey, is that an XL? Is that a classic or is that a pocket when I'm selling mine? I said, bro, it's a fit bully. Ain't you seen the videos? It's a dog that can give you a mile and some change. It's a dog that can run up a tree if you so choose. It can swim. It can do. I mean, it's like you've watched the pups, everything. These are fit bullies. I don't understand. Well, is it going to be big or is it going to be small? Why does it matter?
Correct.
Y'all ain't gonna do nothing with the dogs no way. That's what I'd be confused by. I'd be
Right.
like, we
Right.
jumping around in the snow, the rain, the water, the lakes, the rivers. I'm literally only moving slow now because these pups, kind of like you learn that lesson once. You push a dog too soon. Zara tore her knee. That's 5,000. Then
Mhm.
Gia had her as one time. We had Gia hanging up, and it was a little hole in the ground, and the dirt. She fell funny on the crack of some dirt, bro, and tore her growth plate and her knee. That's another
Oh,
$4,000. I'm like $8,000, and I got donkeys in here. I said these niggas ain't doing nothing till they 16 months or 2 years, bro. I
yeah.
can
Yeah.
I can do the same content, focus on
Yep.
food, and push them when everybody's bones are done.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So just what you just said right there. See, what you just expressed to me is that trial and error taught you, right? Experience taught you, right?
And that money coming out their pocket.
And of course, that's trial and error, right? You know what I mean? So same thing with what I've done in my career of doing dogs and breeding dogs and conditioning dogs, because my specialty, what I love to do is condition. Okay. That's why my dogs all look the way they be looking. Okay. Not for no reason. Yeah, genetics play, but I live on a mountain. I got the whole facility. I do all the shit. Now, I've learned over time when I was so anxious that I was causing my dogs injuries too. Earlier on in my career of dogs, right? So then I always tell my people, whoever buy a puppy from me, take your time. For that first year, just fucking love on the dog. Don't try to push it. Don't try to turn it on. Just fucking love on the dog. Build your relationship. The dog will turn on when it's time, but just take your time for the dogs to grow. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overstress the dog's mental. You don't want to break the dog's mental. You want to build the rapport, but just let it be a dog. Let it be a puppy. I know you want to shake them up and do all the shit. Rah, rah, rah. Let it be a child. But see, without experience, you don't know. Right?
Bro. And I mean literally, bro. It when I tell you, if whoever watches this, you see what he's got going on. Amazing dogs. I love that you just talked about that, which we get into a second too, just the conditioning side, because it ain't just muscles. It's like, yo, oh no, these dogs finna go. These they still got to do a mile or two. They still got to drag a little bit of weight or something. But I know for a fact, ain't nobody doing no running, hopping, jumping, skipping, coming out no trees and nothing else until everybody's done growing. Because
That's right.
that 5,000 and then recasting 275 every 3 days, like
Oh
I'm
man.
not dealing with that, man. You go, shh. And so, hey, man, the dogs ain't really doing much. I say, oh, they're just big looking puppies. I mean, they're literally ain't even a year old. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
The
I got
baby.
4 dogs under 16 months, and
Mm-hmm.
two of them, the biggest, tallest one, ain't even turned a year yet. So I'm like,
Right.
nope. Where's so and so? It's like, bro, no matter. When it's time, I'll press the button. You'll see. But for
That's
now,
right.
we just gotta let him grow up and hang out and fall in love with the process. Know that
Yep.
regardless, he's gonna be my dog. He ain't going nowhere. Um,
Right.
and I have to take care of him to say the least. Like
Right.
that's my thing, man. Now, when you talk conditioning, because I even see your pups, and the debacle at times, even because I don't reply to comments, but I'll check my messages every now and then, and I'm like, oh, I'll be nice. Let me answer 10. And then
Right.
if I see one stupid one, I'm like, oh, there was two. That's it. But
Yep.
when they see even my little dog Love, with the little like, oh, I can see your ribs, I can see this. I'm like, okay, so you do understand dogs ain't supposed to be fat, right?
Right, right.
And you do understand that, well, hypodermis, dermis, epidermis, all that stuff. Do you understand adipose tissue? Like this isn't a breed known to have super thick skin, but even more importantly, I don't want her gut past here. Like even Mowgli, I'll fast him for 2 days to see where he's at. Then I'm
Yeah.
like, when I do a video today, it'll be me giving him a whole chicken and a bag of tripe, and then I'll feed him for the day and show people, like, oh, this how fast his body will respond to food. But I
Mhm.
also got to go back out, put him on dragging some weight and conditioning too. So, what do you do conditioning wise to keep them dogs looking so tight? Even the puppies look,
Yeah,
legit.
yeah, yeah. So I have a feeding regimen. Now I don't feed raw, so respect to you for feeding raw.
Yeah, yeah.
Too many dogs, so I can't do that.
Hey, dude, this is
Um,
right. Trust me.
It's a lot of money, a lot of time. I see the time you put in. But I have a certain kibble that I like to use, which is like a chicken and a rice formula, and I feed my dogs in portions depending on how active they are, and I also fast my dogs. I fast my dogs once a week on Sundays. Okay, but based off of that feeding regimen, each dog is different. Okay, depending on how fast they burn they food, how what I want to see as far as their physique. The feeding is important, but because I live where I live on this mountain, and I have an ATV, and I have weight harnesses, and I got a weight pull track. I got all this type of stuff because that's what I like to do. Okay, I have based off of the hill I live on. I can take my dogs and run them up my hill, chasing the ATV, or me chasing them up the ATV and running down, running up, running down. And just that alone will have my dog's muscles popping just by doing that. Because imagine, you taking your dogs to a hill and you playing fetch, and you throwing that bitch until they is exhausted, and they going up, all that resistance going up and then coming down, all that control coming down, you know what I mean? Going up, going down. And it doesn't put that much strain on the joints. But at the same time, it gets enough burn to where you get the muscles to break down, and then you start to see that definition. You start to see that working definition. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You ain't never lie. I've probably done a hill video every litter. Like, guys, the easiest way to build muscle on a dog is get to a big ass hill.
Yeah.
You either walk up and down it yourself with your dog, or I
Hmm.
said, or throw that ball and get him going because that hill, like I've been hiking, so I've hiked Squaw Peak like in Arizona, and the going up is hard. The coming down is awesome.
Yeah.
It's off, but your hams and calves and glutes are cooked
Hmm.
coming down that damn mountain. You don't think about it because you're like, oh, this is bad going up, right? It's hell coming down that bitch.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's such a balanced workout. If I want to bulk my dogs up, Trev, I throw the weight harness on there, throw some tires on that bitch, and I get them to pull. I get them to get that strain. Work that bitch. Okay, if I want to bulk them up, but I want working muscle. Me
Yeah.
personally, I don't want bodybuilding type shit. You know what I'm saying? I want working muscle. I like the tucks on my dogs. I like that working lean muscle because that's what I do. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I want to see you burn out on them hill climbs up and down. And then I like to chase my dogs with my four wheeler. Okay. So I chase them up and they like to run up and then we go down. So I'm doing that until it's tap out time. Right. Until they're like, okay, daddy, it's enough. I'm gonna do it. But you can tell, okay, it's
Yeah.
enough's enough. You know what I mean?
Hey,
But
look, 5 good reps go a long way.
oh man, I mean, I got a long, big ass hill. So I'm like 3 times up, 3 times down. We cool. That's good enough for y'all. You know what I mean? And by me doing this and whatever else I need to do to see what type of physiques I want to see to increase the air, because a lot of times I want to see how much stamina. Like, how can I push you? You know what I mean? Can we do if we did 3 times up, 3 times down this week? Are we going? Can we do five? Can we do two more? You know what I mean? Like that's the type of stuff that I'm doing to test and see if I'm increasing wind. But that automatically gets my dog's physique popping. Now with the puppies, I don't overfeed my puppies either. I feed them twice a day, but proportionally. I don't want them. I don't want my dogs fat and heavy. That's why you would see my puppies. My puppies is physiqued up, muscled up too.
Yeah.
Because I treat them the same way I treat the older ones, but I feed them more because they puppies. But at the same time, I'm not letting them just gorge big ass fat bloated ass stomachs.
Hey,
You know,
that part is super important.
dogs like athletes. You know, you an athlete. I mean, a lot of us over here are athletes.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a time when you eat, but it's for a reason. There's a reason why you eating. You know what I mean? And there's a time where we need to fast. And there's a time,
100%.
there's a time that we need to eat in portions. You know what I mean? Depending on what we're trying to do. So, or what type of physique that you want to have. So I put that all in my regimen for conditioning. You know what I mean? What type of conditioning I'm gonna do. Like I said, thank God I figured out that hill shit. And this is how I figured out the hill. My partner lived in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and his house was on the hill. And he had this dog that used to run up this hill. This hill was steep, and he had deer that used to be running up in the back of his yard. I remember one day I went to his house out there, and I remember his dog before he moved there. And I seen his dog, and I was like, "What the fuck did you do to this dog?" I thought it was on steroids. Like, I mean, night and day, Trev. He said, "Oh, all she do is run up that hill all day." I couldn't believe that bitch's physique. So I'm like, "Oh shit, that's all." So of course I live on a mountain. I'm like, "Oh shit, this perfect." And I started doing the same thing. Man, I have all my dogs looking like Hercules and shit, man.
Hey, you know what's funny is, so my background's in ergonomics. So, when I came back to the dog space and I understand physical and athletic stuff and at a very high level. So a basic rule for lengthening or making your muscle big is myosin actin. You're either stretching or contracting anything that you do. And
Okay.
when you look at the length of a muscle, you say a longer muscle is a more effective muscle, right? If you got a short jab, you can't do nothing. But when they come out, boom, and so when a dog can reach here and
Right,
stretch
right,
that muscle here and then pull back through and pull themselves forward, that heel forces them to literally maximize the potential of the muscle's ability to like develop. So
right.
when people that don't know, I don't, that's one time I first came back on social media, I said all this smart stuff and I was like, in my head, I go, these people ain't that smart.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. It's over
then
the head.
then the hits come, guys, just take care of your dogs. Cause I was like, they're not gonna get it.
Right.
But in my head I said that, and then I'm like, yeah, they're not gonna understand that one. But I love that hill thing because
Man,
it
it's the
literally
best thing you can
ego
do for
all
your
of them
dog.
when it's time to like
Yeah,
get the next round going. That hill is gonna be
yeah,
their best friend.
yes. And for high performance working dogs like I produce, I want the wind. I'm paying attention to how they breathe and how they breathe, excuse me, and how they recover, how they respond. I'm watching the muscles repair. I'm watching how they, when they're done working, how they walk and are they limping somewhere? Are they, I'm seeing how like I'm watching it all because my whole thing is maximizing performance. If I'm breeding for those performance traits, I want to see it illustrated in my dogs when I work them. I want to see it, and then I want to see how far I can push you mentally as a dog too. So that's a part of my training as well. Like, how far are you gonna let me push you?
Bro, that's probably my favorite thing right there, man, is knowing that a dog won't give up. And when I tell people I lost my little legend, Ego died, but I was like,
Mm,
he would rather die. He would
mm,
rather die than quit. And
mhm.
shout out to my guy Chris Moore. Chris was like, Trev, I know his heart's good because Chris he rarely called me unless I'm coming out. He goes, I know his heart was good because there's a couple times I was watching videos like, you gonna kill that dog. And I was like, he didn't want to keep doing it. I mean, he's smart enough to know. Like, there's some times here in Texas where him and old boy used to kick it. Him and Tron, they would
Yeah,
turn around and they both be at the back door, like, bro, it's too hot today, man. Let us inside. And
yeah,
you couldn't get him to come off that cold floor because he was cooked.
yeah,
He was like, bro, it's too hot out here. What you think we doing today? Now he'd have done it if I stayed out there, but normally you can lead him out there for 50 minutes and they'll be
right.
on that rope fucking around. But I love that too because even understanding the conditioning side compared to the muscle side. You want
Mhm.
movement. So for our little bulldog, we got Joker from Chris and him. You go, okay, what's the trick here to make it sure? Well, he got to walk 2 miles.
Yeah,
He's gonna give me 1.5 to make sure he can breathe, even though he's a bulldog. But
right.
yeah, the same thing with Maestro and definitely Boogie and shit. Mowgli can give you 3 or 4 miles and keep his mouth shut. So I'm gonna have to hire an Ethiopian to run this motherfucker.
You crazy.
But what is something else that you want them to know about your program, man? Because I feel like you have a wealth of knowledge. I don't know that it's been
Oh yeah.
highlighted. I personally want to find some time and get out there and sit down and do a documentary style. Just capture your story so it exists. That way, somebody maybe in the future who's thinking about something, and I love the way you're thinking because I get calls like I'm sure you do from various people, and they'll come in with, you know, Trev, I need a such and such dog, and I'm like, oh, so you want like a black Russian terrier? They're like, I never heard of that before. Let me look it up. They'd be like, oh, damn, it's the police. It does. I said, yeah, yeah, yeah. You said you about to buy 5, 6 acres. You need a dog because you lazy. I see you. I tell them too, like, nigga, you lazy, so you really ain't gonna do nothing. You got to
Yeah.
hire a trainer, but the dog naturally, innately is relatively smart and it's pretty protective in a sense if you get it from the right person.
Right.
I never even heard of this before. So I never pitch, believe it or not, my own dogs because that actually requires a lot more work.
Right.
But like there are breeds out there who they 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 have those things that are built in, right?
Correct. 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 And that's how I build dogs. I make dogs. That's my passion. That's my gift. That's why I have so many breeds. That's why I've bred the way I've bred. That's why I got all kind of different breeds and of my dogs and other dogs on ice in my fertility blank in my fertility bank
Yeah.
because I have goals to create my own lines and my own type dogs. You know what I mean? But it's strictly for performance. That's why I consider myself the Formula One of canines because I'm trying to reach the pinnacle of high performance dogs. Every breeding for me is always trying to add and become better. I don't want to be the same. I tell my people all the time, I love genetic variants. Some people love their dogs to be the same. I don't. I like a litter that shows me a side of all my genetics because I didn't pay for those genetics for nothing. I don't want my Kango to be totally washed out. I don't want my Malinois to be totally washed out. I don't want my Neapolitan Mastiff, German Boxer, American Bulldog DNA to be totally washed out. I don't want my Pitbull. You know what I'm saying? Like all that I bought for a reason. All that I have for a reason because I want the blend, and then I want the explosiveness of hybrid vigor so I can create freaks. Okay. So it's a lot harder in my arena. Yeah, because I'm the Formula One of this shit. I'm an engineer. I'm the Elon Musk of this high performance dog shit. Right? Elon Musk landed, he landed fucking rockets. They wasn't landing rockets before Elon Musk.
100%, bro.
They
I tell
they
people,
probably would have told Elon Musk, you fucking stupid. You're hell no, you couldn't. You can what are you out of your mind? You can't do that. You can't do that. See, that's what they would be telling me, right?
dude, that right there is the worst ideology to ever live behind is someone telling you what you can't do and then you believing that you can't do it.
Right. Right. And then they love to tell me what I don't have. Oh, there ain't no such thing as this, or there ain't no such thing as that, and all this. You love to say that because you don't live what I live. You don't have the dogs. You ain't never researched and found out. You don't know how dogs is made. You don't understand nothing that I understand. You don't have the vision that I have. Okay. So of course you're gonna say ain't no such thing, and oh, you can't do that. You got mutts. Of course you're gonna say that. That's why I call them spectators. Spectator.
Hey, I've said it many times. There's more viewers than doers, and
Yeah, you watching the game. I'm playing in the game. You watching me. You watching my game. So
every
who you
day,
telling talking to?
bruh, every day they wake up, I'm right there on their phone like this. I know what's getting posted the next 3 days. It's like my man. When you wake up the next day, and the next and the days after that, I'm gonna still be
That's
there.
right. And you still gonna be commenting and trying to downplay what I'm doing because you watching me do it. I'm not watching you do it.
At
You
all.
watching me do it.
At
Yeah.
all, bro. When I say at all, I'm like this, bro. I don't know what they're doing. Like I said, when I see your stuff, that's why it's easy to like your stuff because
Yeah,
when
and I
I get on, I'm
appreciate
about to
that.
post something. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, he's right there. And so
Yep.
I really like shit on that dog. I'm gonna unfollow a bunch of other because I don't even watch. I don't know him. I came in and I think early on I knew I could take the rhetoric, but I thought I needed to be more friendly. And what I've learned is I don't want to become a prisoner
Right,
of
right.
social media either. But I do appreciate, you know, like I said, Chris Moore, yourself, Richard Berry, um, yeah, and my guy Ruben, but he don't really do dogs no more.
Mhm.
So if there's a few of them who I think foundationally I figured so not because even when someone asks me about genetics and stuff, and I'd be like, you know that there are 59 genetics that attribute to a dog's ability to perform. They're like, oh, where'd you learn this? And I'm like, oh, I can see in the link, but you got to go read everything. Then you got to break down those genetics, and you got to understand there's a 1,001 chance that those genetics never reveal themselves, and your litter as well. So you got to double down on the genetic variances of by isolating an idea, hence taking building a line out,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I've done. So I'm like, do you guys understand? You're supposed to breed back to the pedigree. I said, I built the pedigree. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
reading back through it.
yeah.
Uncle's like this last litter. Everybody's like, hey, I didn't see no announcement for the boy that she was using. I said, oh, that was Zara's uncle. They were like,
Mm.
what? I've never seen him before. I said, don't matter. You ain't got to. You see this bitch, don't you? I told you.
That's right. Yeah,
that,
straight
that,
up.
that was the goal. Now, in your experience, who's more essential to bringing out, I guess, the genetics? Is it the female or male in your experience?
Um, it can be both, and this is why. Not every dog is pre-potent. Now, I do a live every Thursday, and and I appreciate your support too, Trev. By the way, I do a live every Thursday. I call it a classroom, and it's called Lab Talk with the Dog God. Okay, every Thursday. So if anybody want to learn about what I do, I teach it. Okay. Um, but I did an episode last week on pure versus prepotency, the term pure versus prepotent. Now, just because a female is, let's say, pure or the male is pure and they come from pure lines, which let's say I would say pure showing their genetic traits. It's, they show it. Whatever it is, it shows. Doesn't mean that dog is prepotent. That means it's going to pass on exactly what it's showing you phenotypically and genotypically. So when you ask me which one versus male or female is more important, it could be one or the other. It could be, it depends on who's more prepotent. For me is if I put in you all those genetics and you display them and you pass them on, male or female, that's what I'm saying is more important to me.
That's interesting. I just broke this down to Jamarcus the other day actually, and it's funny that you're saying that. So feel free chime in and correct me, and definitely make sense of the things that I maybe not know how to make sense. But he said, you've always said that the girls mattered more. I said, yeah, kind of. I said, and this was off camera because I say it, but I say in truth, I said in truth, it just depends. And I said it depends on how solid of a female you have that
Correct.
you know for a fact has genetic potential objectively to both mask herself but better herself.
Correct.
Hence Seabiscuit. I said, so what we've seen from Zara, and I know this from Pit Bull days, was she can reproduce better ideas of herself.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and I knew this based on what the dude showed me, and I said, oh, he don't know what he's doing. I told him, I said, you don't know that. Yeah, I know what to do, brother. 6 years ago, and I was right. I said, so what? But what also happened was we did a litter with Maya twice. Now, Junior, he's a Dumbo. He looks stupid. I said he's got his mama trait. He's lazy. He barely want to do anything. Nala, who you took the hot shot, she was jumpy, tidy, motivated, give you 2 miles. She was a different complete. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. I said, no, what happens is Maya's genetics work better with a performing dog. Ego
Right.
still had bulldog components somewhere back there. So
Right.
technically, the dog you have, Hotshot, was a dog that this dude I know got from a Bossy Kennels, Victoria's Secret only son, and
Mm-hmm.
he was a dog that tore basically both his ACLs because he was so drivey and he was so motivated. So with the what you call it, they had to rehab him. And it was like, yo, it's just too much. Long
Yeah.
story short, when you look at genetic potential, I said, do you know why I took Baloo to that little, I wouldn't say retarded, but the little stupid bulldog bully looking thing that I had with the big head. I said, I only used him once. I told you I was never going to do it. I said, you know why I took him to Czar? Because she would maximize the potential of those pups. I said, and every other dog I took to Czar, she maximized the potential of all the pups. So what you
Right.
saw was consistency on both parts. Take a dumb dog who literally will not walk a block. You couldn't drag Baloo a block to walk. He's just not doing it. I
Mm-hmm.
say take a dumb dog and all the pups come out motivated, got a little muscle to them. Cha Cha as an example, or perspective or picture of that litter there. And when Lola was alive, great rear, he had a little bit of muscle on him. But I was able to show you that if I took her to something small and I took her to something big, you would get the best of both worlds.
Right.
all
Right.
day long. So I love that you talked about genetic potency
Yeah.
because uh hey, you need to breed mine one more time. I said, I want to get a bunch of dumbass dogs. Hell no.
Right.
We
Right.
proven
Exactly.
that to be 100% true versus Amira. Met her mom, seen her pedigree, know what I'm getting. She has the potential, when paired with the right component, to do what we are seeing in this particular litter.
Right.
Hence, because now I know what Cha Cha has in her. I got
Mm.
Zara's proof. Cha Cha's ripped up. When I take Maestro, who's the nephew to Cha Cha, now
Okay.
you got a basically another Super Saiyan per se. But
Right.
I'm saying all that to say, one of the questions that people have asked, man, aren't you glad that you replicated such? I said, no, 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 no. I said, I never want to replicate. I said, the only goal with every litter is better. I don't want another ego.
Right. Right.
I don't want another. I said, I
I
don't
don't
want
want
the
the
same
same.
dog.
I teach that all the time to my people. Like, I don't breathe for the same. You know what I mean? I breathe for better. I have, like I said, I like to use AK as an example
Yeah.
because he's one of my flagship dogs, one of my forefront dogs. But he's such a freaking an exceptional dog that I tell my people all the time, like, I would do him an injustice if I wasn't breeding to make his offspring better than him. I would do him an injustice for being the freak he is to not take his genetics that he's able to pass on. It's rare to get a dog that's a 50-50 outcross to be a freak of nature and prepotent enough to pass himself on to any bitch. Okay. So he's one of those. So if I'm not trying to add genetics that is not him, but could add to his offspring, then why am I breeding him for? I don't want the same shit. I already have AK. You know what I'm saying? It's like driving a car, right? You probably into cars, or, shit like that. I
Actually,
don't.
I'm not, bro. Look, this is the
Oh,
truth.
okay,
You know what's
okay.
interesting? I got to come out. That's why I said I got to come out and hang with you. I actually don't like anything. I'm like the worst person
What?
on earth. I know, dude. I don't even know how to get into stuff, dude. I like information and intellect, and even this. I said, you know what? I'm going to push myself. There's two questions I'm asking myself. Where I said, look, if I do what I can do for 18 months, definitely a solid fucking year, but
Mhm.
18 months and work with the best of them, talk with the best of them, go live and kind of stay live and stream and that kind of stuff. Because I've already done the social media. Like I did what people can't do over 3 platforms in 6 months. And then
Mhm.
I just stayed consistent and I know the formula to like really grow. Like I know the tricks to
Yeah.
really like and all the way the video got to be cut and chopped. But my buddies are in the cars, watches, boats. Hell, we do whiskey. I don't give a shit about that.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, yeah, I can cook. I like cooking. That's what
Mhm.
I'm like. If I'm gonna cook, I'll cook. But you can't collect food, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's a lot of people, like even men that I met, they all got their thing. And I'm like, I ain't got nothing, bro.
Yeah. So I like to use the analogy of cars because, you know, cars and dogs, depending on what you like want to drive, it depends on what type of dog you want. So
Hmm.
me, I'm into performance cars. Okay. I can have me a Lambo, be excited about it, finally get it. Okay. Drive it, love it, drive it, love it, drive it, love it. Pretty soon I got a rhythm, I got a flow with the car to where, now I'm taking it to the limit. Now I'm pushing the limit. Now I'm punking it. Now I'm over there, I mean, now it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, I like this car, but I need more. I done mastered this, right? So same thing with my dogs. I done seen this dog, I done pushed this dog, I done tested this dog. I love this dog, I love this dog. But what if I had a dog that showed me more than this? As an artist, that's what I consider myself when it comes to dogs. I want to make a dog better than what I'm seeing right now, right? So when I see AK, I want everything I'm thinking about. Okay, how am I going to make you better? How am I going to make the band dog version of you, but better than you? How am I going to make a herder version of you, but better than you? How am I going to make you mixed with a Kangal and a state guardian, but better than you? Taking your genes that I see that I know you pass, taking a female, hopefully not just complimenting you. I want the females to compliment my dogs based off of performance, but I want to see things that they have that AK don't have because I'm trying to add to what AK is or any dog that I breed. I'm not trying to be the same. I don't need to take AK and get another dog that's same as AK and breed them together. I don't That's not what I do. I need a dog that's going to bring something else that's going to add so I can see the explosion of genetics when I bring that brand new genetic pool up in there and I get that explosion, that hybrid vigor. Now I'm going to see even more of a freak.
You know what I
Nah,
like about what you're saying too, though, is that you clearly avoid kennel blindness this way, and
yeah.
you also never get stuck on one idea. And
It never gets boring.
hey, bruh, it can't get boring with what you're doing, but damn
Yeah,
sure you go.
yeah. And like I said, because it's so much work, Trevor, you know how much work you put in taking care of your dogs. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's no days off. It's a lot of work that I put. It's a lot of losses, a lot of money I spend on food. It's a lot of stuff, a lot. So I have to be motivated. Okay. Now, if I'm just a pet lover and I do love my dogs, but at the same time, when you want to run a professional program, these dogs are not pets. They're they're athletes for me. They're genetic tools for me. So they have to give me something in return of what I give them. So if I'm not adding dogs and breeding the way that I need to breed to elevate my program, then it's going to be no fun for me. There's going to be no motivation for me to keep going because this is a money pit. I mean, like I said, the glory comes for me when I produce my vision. That's the glory. Other than that, ain't no glory in picking up dog piss or shit every fucking day.
Bruh.
Deal, Dealing with, kennel accidents and having to replace equipment because your dogs break them and all kind of shit. I mean, this is, like I said, blood, sweat, and dog shit. Blood, sweat, and
And
dog shit.
and the people, if you hear anything, when people always, man, I want to get into breeding, I say, bro, you better let that go. You better do something else with your life, bro. Because if you know anything about, don't tell me about the business of game, because the business, bro, the cost involved with this shit, like
Right.
before the Barry was, helping us while we do content for stuff, bro. To your point, you don't know how, but for years, for like 5 years, I paid for everybody to eat raw, and I'm like, dude, oh, spend too much money on dogs. I think I ain't never did no GoFundMe. That
Right.
came out of my pocket. I work to make sure the dogs is good, and so
Right.
when you say that, bro, it hits home because every dog increase your cost of living, not the
Every
dog's
time.
cost. Your personal cost of living goes up.
Yep. And then, like you said, don't let an accident happen where you got to go to the vet. Like you said, don't let that shit happen. You know what I'm saying? Don't let you get a damn bulldog, right, that you pay for, and then you got to go get the soft palate surgery removal because you want to, increase his breathing. Because a lot of them bulldogs got that soft palate bullshit going on. You know what I'm saying? And me, being, oh, I can fix it. Oh, I'm going to make an extreme bulldog with high performance. You know what I mean? Over time, when I started doing that shit, failing and seeing these dogs die heat stroke because I like to work them, I'm like, that's just, I scrapped that shit. Fuck that. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, paying for surgeries, having dogs die, spend a lot of money on dogs and they end up dying. That shit, that's money. That's money.
Guys, for
Come on
those that
down.
don't take that heat stroke stuff serious, and you'll learn too, like there's moments where there's close calls, and
Yeah.
part of even what he's talking about too, I would never tell somebody, I think it asked me, man, how do I get my bulldog in shape? I said, start slow.
Slow,
Because
slow.
Joker's been walking almost a mile since he got here. And
Hmm.
so it wasn't like all of a sudden his heart's strong. Your heart is a muscle. It
Hmm.
has a limit. Heat is a factor depending on what part of the world you live in. And then for a fact, as he just talked about, there are limitations on a dog's ability to both cool itself down,
Yeah.
breathe. And
Hmm.
when it hits that limit, bro, there's nothing the best of them can do outside of
The
you
point of
sitting
no
there.
return. You know what I mean? I paid for Trevor. I paid for the soft palate surgery. That's what I'm saying. Imagine buying a dog for high dollar, then having his brother from the same litter die of a heat stroke only with what? I think I worked him for like 30 minutes, but I was always aware. So I work him in the morning time when it's cool. I watch it. I take him up there, got his water, I got him in the shade. But some dogs are just dumb. We can go, that's a whole nother subject. But anyway, him dying of a heat stroke after that, I'm like, oh shit, I need to go and get his brother the soft palate surgery, right? Spent the top dollar on that. Doctor's like, oh, he should be about 85, 90% good. Okay, cool. Kept that regiment still, you know what I mean? Watched them, everybody cool. Man, I came out one night because I live out here in the woods and stuff, and I know that my dogs get riled up when they see stuff. I came out the next morning, and that motherfucker was stiff, dead. After all that I spent, all the maintaining, all the shit, some dogs just want to keep going, but that still didn't correct it. They're telling me it's 85, 90% healed. How come my dog is dead from heat stroke at night? You know what I'm saying? So tough lessons, like you said. So you have to slow when you have a dog that's impaired like that, and you still want to work them. You got to slow dance that whole shit, and even still, that cooling mechanism of the panting, regardless if they're conditioned in the heart or in the lungs or they're winded or not, they still can't get enough air in to cool their organs and shit. It's just a genetic flaw.
Hey,
Period.
and look, it sounds like you've learned the absolute truth about where the lines are when it comes to bulldogs. You go, oh,
Yeah.
guys, trust me, there is a line, and I pay attention to them lines too because I've been concerned a few times, and I'm like, we're not gonna do too much, but they're like, you got to do something. But you go, bro, pay attention to your dog, man, because it
Yeah.
is in Texas, it's a boiler. For a fact, every dog, to be clear, has a line and a limit, and
Mhm.
DIC means death is coming. It could get your dog later, especially if they have a heat stroke or something, and survive it. You go, bro, I
Yeah.
ain't dealing with that shit. I ain't
No,
doing
yeah.
it.
That's why I scrap my shit. Trevor, I scrap that shit. Like, you know what? I'm not doing no extreme bully type bulldogs and shit. High performance don't go with them bully types. That, and like I said, I'm Formula One. I want my dogs to work. I need them to work. So then that made me go back into the drawing board with my bulldog program. That's why I have my Formula One bulldog program. I'm breeding them different. I'm not going in that direction because I know they bred a certain type of way for those looks for so long that you're gonna have to revamp the whole breed to correct it. I mean, you do.
Hey, look, you ain't sitting there sitting to a can of oil, bro. I get it. I get that. If anything, if anybody gets that, bro, the time that goes into to undoing something and then coming to the we call it in business and marketing, on sales even the absolute truth is like, no, that product's not going to work. You go, how do you know? We've spent every dollar, we've done everything. It's like we don't even know that words could change how the market sees it, so we have to move on.
Yeah,
And then you go
yeah.
find another good product. Well, look, man, we covered an hour, man. Now that I know this is for one. This is a much better one. This is
Yeah,
a much better
yeah,
one.
yeah. We got better reception and more time.
That part right there. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do another one if you got time later this week. Because I got to manage all the dogs because Jamarcus is out of town. And I text Richard before I got on. I said, Richard, hey, let's try to do one a live and another sit down before the new year, and then we got to go live and do the giveaway. Boom, boom, boom. The point is, I'm like, this is good, man. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
post this. I don't know if you use Opus Clip or not. I would say feel free to use that software, drop in some of these clips to your page because believe it or not, man, your dogs do speak for themselves, but you do have a voice and perspective, and
Yeah,
you understand diplomacy as well. My
yeah.
thing is, there's nobody to argue with because my dogs are my dogs, and
Exactly.
I'm gonna take care of them. My mama and mind my business, and that's not even saying nothing rude. It's like, no, I'm tending to the business. I want to
Mhm.
sit down with guys like yourself and highlight things that I think other people need to learn because it does translate.
For
Hence,
sure.
the bully being thrown in the trash at shows, being pushed around. You go, bro, you
Yeah,
got a dog, can't get in the car. That's crazy to me. Can't
yeah,
walk around the block without almost checking out. That's ludicrous.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I was like, we got to figure something out. So, in our next episode, we'll talk about breaking down performance, what it
Okay.
means to work,
Yeah,
how to create a working line,
yeah.
building your own line, and how to even like look for the dogs you need because not all breeds. I'll put it like this. Max, somebody said, hey, where can I get a good Cane Corso? I said, go here. But I said, ask him to define. I said, are you looking for a working Cane Corso or are you looking for a show line? Oh, I
Mhm.
never thought about it. I said, they're two different dogs. Two different dogs, to be clear, depending on how long the guy's been doing it and what he's doing. They've got dogs all over town and all over the place, but they can help you make the right choice for you and your family. A
That's right.
working dog will wear your ass out. I said a show
That's
dog,
right.
a little more docile, still has working components, but it'll know it'll pause. And believe me, it matters. It
Oh, for
matters,
sure.
my friend. But dude,
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, dude.
Man, I appreciate you inviting me, Trev. And like I said, if anybody who wants to learn, you really want to know my perspective and my insight, like I said, I do it for free on my lives every Thursday. So if you go to my page, The Dog Guy TV on YouTube, every Thursday night, if you want to come in, you can feel free to come in and participate in the chat. But I got like 117 episodes that I've done, and I teach the game. You know what I mean? And one thing that's I always tell people too is like I'm not only just speaking just because I can. I'm speaking because I did it, done it, and I'm doing it. So I'm coming from a player coach perspective. I'm not just coaching from I'm retired and now I'm a coach. No, I'm coaching because I'm in the game doing these things that I'm telling you. You know what I mean? And learning and applying myself these things, these theories, if you want to call it that, these experiences I'm actually doing, so I can show you the work. I can
Funny
talk about
because
the loss. Yeah,
everything
and
is theoretical. That's the beauty about it. It's like in theory, this should work. And you go, well, it should, it could, it
it's good,
might, but it will
but
not if you don't do the work.
yeah. And one more thing, genetic lottery. Okay. When you playing breeding games or you playing God, because we're not God at the end of the day, God is the creator. All we do is assist the creator when we do these breedings. Nothing is guaranteed. I don't care how good the pedigree is. I don't care how good the genetics are. I don't have good how good the parents are. I don't care how well they produced before. Nothing is guaranteed. So when you do any type of breedings, understand it's all theory and it's a genetic lottery. You better pray that you get what you want. Other than that, ain't nothing guaranteed. Ain't nothing guaranteed.
Hey, not the only thing guaranteed in life, you're gonna die one day in this life, man. So live
Yeah.
life to the fullest, people. Look, my man,
Yep.
the coach himself, man. Thank you so much for
Yes.
sitting down and giving us perspective. I appreciate your time, bro. Man, I'm look, this is going up right now. I'm finna once it renders out, I'm going up and I'm gonna shoot you the link. All right.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. I'll talk to you.
Yep. Salute.